there are two routes to collapse, and the machinery is in motion for both of them. Number one, you've got to have millions of young, healthy people sign up and pay into the insurance pool. You've got to have those healthy young people sign up and pay in. The government is not telling us how many of these 26,000 people were young and healthy. If they don't sign up, the whole economics of Obamacare falls flat on its face, because premiums will have to go up for everybody if the young don't pay up. Second route, if you allow people to keep the policies that they've got and which they like, then you're taking millions of people out of these exchanges. They'll stick with the plan they've got. That destroys the economics of the exchanges. Both of those two areas, both of those two routes are in motion towards the collapse of Obamacare, and it's happening right now.
And there you have it. That, of course, was Fox Business Network's Stuart Varney explaining the inevitable collapse of Obamacare. Here with reaction to that much more, our studio panel, Fox News legal analyst Peter Johnson Jr., Fox News contributor Jacques DeGraff, and the co-host of the hit show The Five, Kimberly Guilfoyle. Good to see you guys.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. There is a fundamental part of all of this discussion that there's a reason the president, Kimberly, today could not say, I am going to keep my promise that I made to the American people. Because as soon as he opens that door, the infrastructure of which Obamacare is predicated on collapses. They need all those people funneled into the system.
Right, because there's no pull then in the tent. Okay,
Bingo.
so the whole thing falls apart. It's really just been a house of cards to begin with. And the sad and really awful part of it is that they knew this from the beginning and they pushed it forward anyway, because partisan politics matters more to them really than the health care of Americans across the country. Because if you look at this now, even if this were to go forward, even if people were to enroll, we still don't have the numbers to support it, but the whole selection process, everything is flawed. There isn't an ability to fix this. That's the problem. And then he wants to try to act unilaterally, which is all legal and constitutional issues involved with that.
Jacques, you know, if the president came out today and, as I suggested earlier, and he actually said to the American people, I made a mistake, but I made a promise, I'm going to keep my promise, I think it would have gone a long way. Goodwill from the American people would have reversed the decline he's experiencing. He can't do that, though, for the reasons Kimberly just mentioned.
Well, I think that we're at a point. This is a difficult point, and there's no two ways about it. You can't make a bad situation good by just good statements. It needs good actions. Having said that, this is the latest calamity. We've had debt ceiling, sequestration, the government shutdown, and now this, which is the biggest of all of the calamities. I think the American public wants competence in government again, and honest dialogue, and to use the word partisanship. I think you're absolutely right. But I think both parties now need to stop the rhetoric and get down to fix this.
But the president's not going to allow them to fix it, Peter. That's the problem.
Well, you know, Jacques is probably one of the most loyal Democrats in the United States of America, and for Jacques not to be able to summon any defense for this president, Obamacare, indicates how poorly the president's doing.
But you're a Democrat, too.
I am a Democrat, but I've been more critical than Jacques has of this administration over the past 5 years. But what Obamacare has become is the disease rather than the cure. It's a poison in American politics. And now we're seeing what's happened as a result of it. The assumptions were wrong, and it was based on a lie. It was based on a false promise that was never going to be met. So people were fraudulently induced to say, Mr. President, thank you. I can keep my health care coverage. I can keep my doctor.
I'll save money.
But now we find out it was a bald-faced lie.
So where do we go with Jacques? I mean, that's a good point. I mean,
I don't accept the premise, but the
what premise don't you accept?
You're a Democrat. That's the premise.
No, I'm a loyal American, and I believe.
Well, so am I.
I'm not calling.
I can vouch for Peter and you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
That issue is not in dispute.
It's not. It's not.
But I'm saying it's not, and I don't speak as a Democrat to this issue. I speak out of concern for the uninsured. That was the part of the intent of the original health care.
But even the CBO said 30 million will remain uninsured,
but
even with Obamacare.
But there was still a number, a huge number that would be insured under the original intent.
Go ahead.
I just think this is a very sad day in America that we find ourselves in this situation. I think now the problem is so many more millions of people will be disenfranchised and not have the health care that they deserve. I think it's shameful what happened. In fact, I think it's criminal because, like I've said before, it was a fraud that was perpetuated against the American people.
But there's
and it's really not fixable.
You're
is
absolutely
the problem.
right. There's something wrong in our country, though, when you have a policy that says, I'm going to take insurance away from these people, and it's been taken away, and these people are going to get it instead. This has been a redistribution plan from day one. And the fix today is not a fix. It needs a legislative enactment. The Congress has to act.
This is a help get Democrats elected.
And insurance superintendents across the country are rebelling. They're saying, we're not going to do this, Mr. President.
I got to cut you off. I don't mean to.
That's okay.
Thank you all for being with us. Appreciate it.